Yeah, good evening, everyone, and also hello to everyone who's also on online. Uh, yeah, so um, yeah, tonight I supposed to talk about topic on compassion in action. Yeah, so mm, yeah, mm, yeah. So I think whether one believe in uh, spiritual practice or not, whether one practice uh, um, any tradition, any religious tradition or not, whether you are Buddhist or not. Uh, mm, what really matters ultimately is compassion in action. What really matters to anybody, uh, you know, compassion to be compassion to express in action. So, in the uh, practice of compassion in action, then uh, there's no there's no uh, extra meaning or there's no any extra necessity of having all this uh, mm, different philosophies, different beliefs. Uh, as long as I don't know whether I'd say correctly or not in English. Uh, uh, as long as there's an element of compassion and action, then uh, that really, whole meaning of um, this spiritual practice. Uh, Without the element of compassion and action, then there's no any meaning of you know uh, this spiritual identity. uh, and even someone is free thinker, but if there's a practice of compassion action, you fulfill the meaning of all the spiritualities. Mm. If someone live in the in the practice of compassion action uh, without pursuing enlightenment, the enlightenment will be delivered. Uh, if you are a believer of um, mm, uh, uh, mm, liberation is possible, believer of spiritual goal of freedom from problems, freedom from samsara, suffering, um, the state of cessation, where there is self nirvana, self liberation, or the liberation that which is in the service of rest of the sentient being uh, will be delivered if one live in the practice of compassion and action. Uh, one's ultimate goal will be comes in your way without even asking, pursuing, because of uh, the um, the uh, the ultimate reality or relative reality, which is all about interdependently existent. Uh, when you create a right course, without asking, result will be produced. In dependent on uh, having the right course, the result is, by nature, it actualizes. Mm. So the right cause for full enlightenment, Buddhahood in Buddhist practice, is the meritorious causes that you accumulate, you know, through the practice of compassion in action. So then those of who, those of theistic believers, whatever um, your ultimate spiritual goal may be, uh, uh, when you practice, when you live um, mm, your life performing, compassion and action, then those goals will be, comes in your way. And even those who do not believe in anything, who so-called free thinker or whatever, um, as long as you live in practice of compassion and action, uh, mm, all the goodness, all the goodness, uh, even it may be just within the frame of this lifetime, uh, will comes in your way. Uh, so, so therefore, the essence, the meaning of life, the essence, meaning of spirituality, I understand the practice of compassion in action. uh, uh, and who 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 will not appreciate when someone express compassion action? Anybody would appreciate, uh, whether human or animals, whoever. When you relate to those beings in the manner of compassion and action, anybody would like it. Anybody would appreciate it, and anybody would be benefited by that. Mm. It is very much, uh, uh, medicine, uh, that which will bring relief from any form of limitations or any form of, sufferings. When and that which anybody would appreciate. Such kind of act that comes in your way. One of the most beautiful practice. One of most beautiful quality that we as human being can able to adorn. The most beautiful quality, which is living a life in performing compassion in action. Mm. So that's what I understand. uh, so uh, based on Buddhist teaching, the definition of compassion, uh, which is the heart that aspire or wishes the suffering beings to be elevated from suffering, suffering beings to be elevated from its causes of suffering, or heart that wishes, aspire uh, any being, um, hmm, whether it's to one or whether it's to many or all, uh, to be free from inconvenience and uh, mm, and be free from the cause and conditions of the inconvenience. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful heart that it expressed in that way. Mm. uh, and when it comes to inconvenience or suffering or problem, from the Buddhist teaching point of view, they are categorized into three main different kind of sufferings: the suffering of pain, suffering of change, and pervasive compounded suffering. Mm. And the pervasive compounded suffering, the third level of suffering in Buddhist teaching, understood as samsara. The name that that commonly mentioned, samsara. So samsara means suffering, and that suffering is talking about the the third level of inconvenience, which is called the pervasive compounded phenomena or pervasive compounded suffering. And uh, what that really mean, pervasive, uh, uh, that compounded phenomena serve as a basis to experience inconvenience in three times, like such as this very human aggregates: the human mind, the human body, the human feeling, human compositional factor, etc. So at least let's say the human body is regarded pervasive compounded suffering. Uh, Pervasive because this body serves as a basis to ripen the past negative actions or past actions that carry the potential uh, to bring inconvenience. Mm. uh, uh, so, in other words, past karmic potentials, which very much left in our uh, system, uh, left in our continuum in consciousness, uh, the action that performed by delusions, like such as three root delusions, like through ignorance, not knowing the ultimate truth of self, of phenomena, of the actions, of the relationship in between, self and others, relationship between uh, our mind and its objects, relationship between our senses and its objects, uh, you know, very much uh, um, obscured, um, and being in dualistic kind of view, dualistic appearance, being in the view, being in obscured by you know uh, inherent or true existence, very much obscure uh, the obscuration, um, mm, not uh, obscuration that which unable to see the absolute truth about existent. Uh, Due to that, uh, falsely, falsely uh, perceive and falsely apprehend, falsely grasp, and express that grasping into different delusions like uh, mm, uh, mm, uh, even though there's no substantially existing beauty liking, but then you know you apprehend as a something to be liked and grasp uh, in in the desired, the desires grasping, to the object, and from there, create uh, many form of many degrees and many form of um, actions are performed. When our mind um, relate to the object of attachment, then action, you know, um, performed through our body, speech, and mind in relation to that, and that action leave leave imprint, leave it is uh, uh, mm, it is uh, mm, so we call, I mean, it is potential, but by performing those actions, there's um, certain mm, characteristics achieved, and those characteristics carry potentials, potential to bring something, potential to experience something, out of that, and and those potentials are called the karma, the karmic potentials, which left by the action, that action, performed, initiated by the delusion, and those delusions initiated by the ignorant. Mm. So when those karmic potentials are ripened, uh, it ripen in limitations, in the form of suffering, and that those suffering experience within this body, within this mind, within this body. That's why this body serve, or these aggregates of human, serve as a basis to um, experience a suffering that which left by the action of the past. Mhm. Then this very present time, there are a lot of um, new karmas are committed. Again, through the actions of our body, speech, and mind, which is also infused by ignorance and delusions. And uh, very next moment of those actions are performed now. Uh, you know, Again, this body, this mind serve as a basis to experience the suffering, and that's quite obvious. You know, very present moment express uh, desirous, attachment and grasping. Then immediate, the next moment when the desirous objective is not achieved, we feel disappointed. We suffer. Our minds suffer, and in many cases, our physical body also. you know, get harmed and experience pain. Mm. And similar, like anger, when anger arises um, due to certain circumstances, right now the anger arises, uh, and the the next very moment, after anger express, very obvious form of inconvenience that comes in our way, and that also experienced by this body, this mind, you know, very tense physically. The whole nervous systems are become very tense, you know, and mentally there's a lot of stress that you encounter. Then not only that, there are a lot of actions that we commit through our body, speech, and mind, again by the influence of ignorance and delusion, which leave potential within our continuum to experience in future times, uh, next lifetimes or later part of this lifetime, or even tomorrow, or many eons of future lifetimes. Uh, and those potentials are committed on the basis of this very, uh, samsaric aggregates. So that's why it's called pervasive, compounded suffering. Uh, mm, uh, mm. So now, um, the heart that expressing, uh, you know, even one being, that could be oneself, wishing to um, be free from, these three kind of different sufferings, uh, and uh, finding any means to condition to overcome that, and that is the expression of compassion, or compassion. Yeah, you can say whatever action that you perform for that purpose, then expressing compassion in action. Mhm. So there are three doors to express that action. So our body, speech, and mind. Uh, uh, the the compassion itself is expressed from our heart, but when you perform that compassion in action, and there's a three doors to perform. Uh, when this compassion, uh, the moment you have, the moment you know, you have an object, the moment you express that dedicating to an object, and that could be one person, it could be yourself. Uh, so that is the compassion in action that you express from your heart. Mm. Uh, uh, you're wishing, you genuinely aspire, may I be free from this three kind of suffering, or at least one kind of suffering. If one's going through physical kind of suffering or pain, or mental suffering or pain, then the moment you express from your heart that may I be free from this suffering, you already perform compassion action, through your heart. Mhm. Now, uh, if you express that in a word, uh, mm, uh, uh, mm, or even this particular word, may I be free from suffering, and I will cause uh, myself to be free from suffering. Such in a Buddhist text, there's like four immeasurable prayers, four immeasurable thoughts that you express: the immeasurable of love, immeasurable compassion, immeasurable equanimity. You know, uh, so uh, so this immeasurable thought if you express to yourself, so that become, you know, uh, you know, the the compassion action that you express, through your speech. Mm. and and that action, that's simply expressing that, it create a meritorious karma, and that meritorious karma act as either direct cause, or either at least act as a condition to encounter, you know, antidotes, or encounter uh, the beneficial conditions to elevate, your suffering. Mm. And then uh, physically, you engage in order to, get rid of whatever inconvenience going on, physically or mentally. Then you start to like do a physical exercise. Uh, mm, you start to, use your limbs to, take a walk in a nice, um, peaceful, you know, yeah, place, instead of hiding yourself in the room, being miserable. That naturally helps your body and mind. Uh, and uh, because of you want to elevate yourself, you want to free yourself from this suffering, and you utilize your physical, you know, physically to involve creating those conditions, is expressions of compassion physically. Mm. So now, uh, this act of compassion, uh, at the moment, to object is one, yourself, the compassion is small compassion. It's still compassion, and it's still act of compassion, but it is a very limited one. And when that kind of actions are performed through your body, speech, and mind to many, uh, mm, so it becomes great compassion, you know, especially in Buddhist teaching, in Mahayanic teaching and Vajrayana teaching, emphasize the compassion, that which is immeasurable compassion, which it is object is entire living creature that exist within the sixth realm of existence, like human, God, demigods, animal, preta, spirits, and hell being. So Buddhists understood, there are six realms, which are uh, which are not necessarily having all the three kind of suffering, but it is definite having the third level of suffering, which is, the pervasive compounded suffering. So that's why, as long as anyone is bound by samsara, or anyone is experiencing samsara, is experiencing pervasive compounded suffering, or in another way of understanding is, anyone is under the control of karma and delusion, or in another word, anyone is lacking of freedom uh, from your own choice, and your life is under the control of others' power, the others, the karma and delusions, powering your existence. And that is the samsara. So that is the most painful suffering, as I mentioned before. So painful that it serves the basis to, bring suffering in three times. Suffering of pain, just maybe only present time. Suffering of change could be in the present time. But its pervasive compounded suffering is so huge, so intense. It's all the time, as long as, one live under the control of karma and delusion. So, so now, understanding that entire living being, entire sentient being, or entire beings in these six realms, um, reasoning the similar, position like yourself, who is in the nature of suffering, and uh, expressing the greatest extent of your compassion through your heart, through your speech, through your action, then it becomes the immeasurable compassion in action. Mhm. Mhm. So now the 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 more extended way of expressing compassion action through your heart is um, uh, uh, such as you know observing observing the Bodhisattva precepts. So the Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva are the being that uh, you know uh, whose heart is bodhicitta, whose heart is completely dedicated in the service of uh, entire sentient beings, temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment. Mm. So now oneself inspired by this, the Bodhisattva's heart. Uh, then, even though oneself as an ordinary practitioner, uh, beginner, but then the very moment that you aspire and you commit to take the precept, so they are called the aspiring Bodhisattva precept, engaging Bodhisattva precept. Aspiring is very much the heart exactly, the mind exactly like those Bodhisattvas. I will carry from now on in my motivation in all actions. So that and taking that as your promise, commitment, you are taking the aspiration of Bodhisattva precept. Uh, and then living in the practice, uh, whatever action that you perform, you perform infused by the heart of bodhicitta. Uh, and if you meditate on compassion, infused by the heart of bodhicitta, uh, that's the great compassion. Uh, the great compassion in action from your heart. Uh, then whatever you speak, like such as uh, in dedication to the well-being of numberless sentient beings, temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness, introduce, make sense to yourself by the heart of bodhicitta and make you recite Om Mani Padme Hum. So that is the compassion action that you deliver through your speech. Or saying, as long as sentient being remain, may I too remain to dispel the misery of all sentient beings. If you chant that, or if you chant Om Mani Padme Hum, the sixth syllable is the letter that manifested, uh, through the heart of bodhicitta, and each letter serve as a antidote to each of the six realms. Mm. So whenever you pronounce that, one understood that it carry uh, the potential, or it carry the power uh, that consecrated or blessed by the compassionate Buddha. Mm. And anyone who expressed that, uh, it directly, bring impact to rest of the numberless sentient beings, accordingly, even how diversity of karmic position there may be, even any people don't feel it, but the impact, in one or another, the impact is reach out there as a condition, uh, condition to ripen the meritorious potential within them to to act as a direct antidote to overcome or alleviate the suffering that they're going through, like such as the pervasive compounded suffering, samsara, like that. You see, so in the uh, um, in the heart of or the motivation infused by great compassion or bodhicitta, then uh, you chant any prayers, or even you sing a song. You make a very beautiful melodious singing, um, mm, um, that that concerning the well-being of rest of the numberless sentient beings. That is compassion in action through your speech. Mm. Uh, my grandfather, he's illiterate. He's a nomad, so very much since young, he spent his life with animals, cows and yaks, and yeah, and mm, he treat the animals maybe even better than human being. Uh, but at least give the respect like how he would give the respect to human being, his loved one, his family. He will give the same respect to the animal. And here in the West, I see many of you who have pets. You give so much respect to your pets and so much love, so much respect. When I see them, when I see you do that, sometimes I think, in future lifetime, may I born as your pet, than a human being. Is so comfortable, you know. It's almost like the best life like that. So my grandpa used to treat those cows, um, and and during the winter time, there's about 3 4 months of heavy winter, snowing, and just to make sure that cows are not feel like kind of like down because of freezing cold, cannot roam around outside. So he spent so much time playing fluid to the cows. So I can even visualize very clearly, the snow falls and cows, like listen, like full attention, and sometimes they make little sound also, like kind of responding. But they understood him so well, and they just like come together like that and listen to him. He sit in the veranda and play fluid hours and hours. Mm. Then, um, time to time you go and pat them. Uh, so uh, I would say that he has so much compassion to them, and that playing fluid is compassion action through his speech and also through his action, because he need to use the fingers, isn't it? so uh, then so this one, all three in one: compassion in action through heart, through speech, through action. uh, so so and all of you, you do that in your own way to the pets or to anybody. So that's it. uh, uh, so uh, then physically, you know in the name of the well-being of rest of the numberless sentient beings, in Buddhist practice, we do prostration to the object of merit field, like holy objects, uh, which carries the Buddha's blessing, the consecration power of Buddha's Dharmakaya within them. So, and also each, even one atom, that which, like such as the statue, or even one single part, it carry the qualities of the Buddha, expression of qualities of Buddha. So um, understanding that, then making prostrations, then in the name of the numberless sentient beings' well-being, you do circumambulation. So there's a great practice of circumambulating around the stupas, circumambulating around the relics, or circumambulating around holy object like the Buddha statue or picture, and sutras, texts, and then stupas or relics, relic content stupas, put in the central, then you go around to accumulate merit. Uh, um, uh, so due to the initiative mind is bodhicitta, or great compassion, whatever merit you accumulate, that it become a conducive condition for other entire numberless sentient beings, you know, to elevate from their inconvenience, their sufferings. You see, so that is compassion action, physically, and so like that. Mm. So there's so many. Uh, uh, you can engage into days and days of many different form of meditation, uh, you know meditation practice, that to accumulate merit, that which you're dedicating for the well-being of numberless sentient beings. That's compassion action through your heart. uh, then you accumulate millions and millions of mantra like Om Mani Padme Hum. People do many form of retreats to accumulate a lot of mantras, a lot of prayers, sutras. uh, so if that is infused by the motivation of compassion bodhicitta, so that is compassion action through speech, that which bring benefit to all sentient beings. Then you know in the name of well-being or numberless sentient being, even you make pilgrimage, or even you go for holiday, or even you just take a walk in the jungle, um, in the name of in the concern of well-being number the sentient being, you spend whole day in the beach, or in the name of well-being of numberless sentient being, you eat, you drink, you sleep. So whatever activities, uh, whether it's sitting, whether it's moving, whether it's eating, drinking, sleeping, as long as it's expressed or initiated or infused by bodhicitta or compassionate heart, and all those become compassionate action, that which is beneficial, to be cause, direct cause, or at least condition, to elevate the suffering of sentient being. So can understand like that, and of course, in day to day, the um, if one can, if one have the ability, then uh, we should engage in the service of sentient being, service of uh, anyone that who need our help, you know, to the hunger, if you have ability, then offer them food, compassion action. Those who need medicine, offer medicine, compassion action. Those who need shelter, you provide shelter, compassion in action. Those who need protection, offer protection, compassion in action. Mm. Uh, even someone just walking and just need to carry their bag, you know, in the concern of that person's well-being, compassion in action. And someone, especially in the West, I think there are a lot of people staying alone. I hear many people like to stay alone even after they are very, very old. And even they are quite sick, they still prefer to stay alone. And uh, some, they may not even have immediate families around. So if you happen to know someone there, then like help to go and talk to them, see how they are doing, and buy groceries, help them to drive to doctor if necessary, or cook for them, clean their rooms, clean their clothes. All these are compassion in action and very, very meritorious action, you know. And if we're able to do that, that's the essence of Buddha Dharma. That's the essence of spiritual practice. That's the retreat. You know, if people think that doing retreat is very, very beneficial, very meritorious for your liberation, enlightenment, that is even more powerful. You know, that is the whole essence, isn't it? Uh, then along the way, you know, when you day-to-day life, if you see any distressed animals, you know, just in your very best, if you can save their life, or at least, you know, even on while walking, being mindful in the concern of the well-being of any other living being. Now be mindful while you're walking, and if you see one ant is like, you know, somewhere rolling there, you very gently, you know, you live up and put in the bush. That is compassion action. uh, and the ant will surely will appreciate. Uh, if the ant has a speech to say thank you, I think the whole universe will fill with the sound of thank you. Uh, so, uh, so like that. Then even like, you know, uh, mm, carrying very positive, uplifted kind of, um, you know, look in the concern of others' happiness. You know, like wherever you walk, you walk with very, very peaceful and very uplifted, like a very light, nice, genuine smile. I think that will make many people's day, you know. And we sometimes feel, you know, if someone pass by with so tense, you naturally feel uncomfortable. You feel tense when someone, you know, pass by with bit of laughter and but then gentleness and, you know, nice genuine smile. You also like literally, you know, you also like goes up like that, isn't it? uh, then such compassion action, you know, plenty of places to practice. You know, you practice with your partner. You see, can you imagine the partner going to be so stressed if you're always moody, you're always like frowning, and always like look so tired, so sad, you know, like almost no mood for anything. Your partner will be so depressed to see this, so not nice, you see. But in the concern of the well-being of your partner, whatever he or she say okay. There's no objection in anything, you know. Say, darling, we go for dinner. I say, okay. Darling, go for holiday. Say, okay. Would you go and get a bunch of flower roses? They say, okay. You know, in the concern of the well-being, the happiness of your partner. This is compassion in action. You see, like even certain thing is really disagreeable. Also, you agree. Say, okay. In the concern of peace, happiness of the partner. And this is compassion in action. You know, this is real practice, real spiritual practice, real good human conduct. You know, like that. So if how wonderful if both partner practice compassion action to each other. Wow, the relationship going to be blossom so beautiful like this flower will be so amazing. Every day is like blissful. Like every day is like honeymoon. Every day is like kind of like the first day of marriage. Like first day of marriage, I think every couple is so happy, isn't it? Isn't it? Not necessary. So I think at least the first day, I think surely very happy. Okay, 99.99% very happy. So it's very like every day is like the yeah, the day of the love. How beautiful. So if you see in this region, you know, even one couple practice like that, huge contribution to the peace of the world, whole world, and from that region and that village and from that home and from that two-person, at least in that one person, even your partner is not appreciating that, but at least you live in totality of virtuous peace that brought through virtuous heart and a huge contribution to the whole world, you know. And how wonderful, how amazing it would be entire couples in that region practice like that. Unbelievable, amazing. How wonderful the entire country practice like that. How wonderful entire world people practice like that. How wonderful each of you and me and rest of the each of the person just remember to practice compassion action. I think that's the real solution to the world peace. That's I think the real solution to make world as a better place to live. You know, that's not happening. That's not happening. You know, people give big lectures. Leaders talk about peace, but fight because of no compassion. Because you don't respect others' well-being. That's why even it is good for even if the belief is bring goodness to you, but you have no considerations of goodness of other side and how to you know how to have a peaceful world, isn't it? uh, so until the leaders start with it start with individual, then of course the leaders are so important, basically everybody, you know if practice uh, genuine sense of compassion and express our body, speech, and mind, being in the action, compassion action, you know, I think that's the only way out of all the troubles that we go through, whether to do with self, even emotion within ourselves, those conflicts that happen in one person's mind. I think if it genuinely you want to elevate suffering in you, then you protect your mind from the intrusions of delusions, from the intrusions of negative emotions. If you genuinely love yourself, love, compassion, when you express compassion, the element of love is already there. Or if you practice, love in action, the element of compassion is already there. It's very much like two face of one coin, like that. You see. So if you truly love yourself, if you really understand what means love, what means genuine care to yourself, true beneficial care to yourself, then you will protect your mind from you know, the intrusions of negative emotions, and your heart will be completely occupied and filled with genuine expressions of love, compassion, all the virtuous heart. You see, uh, uh, then no question about if you want to bring, if you wish happiness in someone else, the the most beneficial tool is again expressing, love in action, compassion in action, kindness in action. That I would understand like that. Mm, mm, yeah. So even to the nature, in the concern of the well-being, even though trees and the rocks and the water, you know, air, soil, even though even though there's no mind, not a living creature, but they are living thing, you know, and respecting uh, and the nature of their existence, uh, uh, where to respect the nature how they exist is the expressions of compassion and love, love, nature, love and compassion to the nature environment, So, uh, uh, so expressing compassion and love, not necessarily only to the living beings. So, can express to the living things. You see, if living things are destroyed, indirectly, you know, or directly, that will cause that will bring inconvenience to the sentient being, the living being, isn't it? You see, so it's yeah. Uh, uh, then the immediate benefit whenever we express the compassion action, uh, your heart, open. Uh, you see, you become very spacious. Uh, 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 you create, yourself as a um, right basis to receive all the goodness when you genuinely express. So in the understanding of meritorious karma, and the moment you express compassion in action, even in just a thought, right there you accumulate so much meritorious karma. And the meritorious karmas are the abundance of causes for future happiness. And even in that very immediate level, your heart will feel lighter. You know, uh, your heart will feel happy. Whenever you're able to do so. When you express genuine compassion, even to a one being, you see, uh, you become very courageous. You become very hopeful. You see, and uh, the heart of aspirations naturally kind of rain onto you. There's so much, uh, positive, uh, positive, beneficial wisdoms, like rain on you. It comes in your way. Um, Many beneficial attitudes, just comes in your way. The moment you open your heart with the the expressions of compassion and love, so like that. Huh? Yeah. Um, the many of you may heard or met, uh, our principal guru, Lama Sopa Rinpoche, Gyaltsab Lama Sopa Rinpoche. Uh, so he lived full time expressing compassion action in the heart, in the speech, and in physical action. Mm? 24 hours, wherever he go, whoever comes in his way, throughout his life, like 70 over years of life, like that, day and night. You know, just give you one example. Uh, he Rinpoche returned to uh, his mother monastery, Koban monastery, every year around November in the past. And some of you who've been to Koban in Nepal, so this story is during the old temple time, old Gomba, not the current temple. So in the old Gomba, it's a top floor. There's a wooden house that dedicated for Rinpoche. So I used to be the room keeper. Uh, my duty is to do the water bowl offering. Then there's also small Zambala statues, 108 Zambala statues to Zambala practice, dedicating merit for the success of, for centers and projects to benefit others. And then cleaning the room, etc., like that. So throughout the year, the room is very neat. Mm, And about a week before Rinpoche arrived, entire his room will be filled with ants, completely, you know. And how much you clean uh, um, is just just can't, just unable to, clean it up. Mm? So of course we will do all sort of things, I mean, I commit so much karma also. But then when Rinpoche arrived, the first thing, he already aware there's an ant, and he will ask immediately to bring the foods for the ants. And after some years, we already know he will ask us to do that, so we already prepared. But but I will not practice compassion action because I want the ants to go away, so I won't feed the ants. So, but just to uh, be obedience to the teacher. So then, we prepare huge basin full of flour mixed with uh, butter, plenty of butter, sugar. Even the aroma is so delicious. And yeah, it's so nice because sometimes we also eat because it's the like best samba doll like that. So we prepare like this. So the first thing when Rinpoche arrive is bring the ants food. So then he will starve the like a few handful of the ants food under his pillow around the corner of his beds and all the corners and all the hole because of wooden kind of plank and also got a little hole, so just every hole entirety. And interestingly, exactly the spot where Rinpoche sit, the ants won't sit there. Is and most of the time when Rinpoche sit, he close his eyes, like that, So there's no way that he will step on because there's no end right there. But right here is like maybe thousands. Then the white eggs. Uh, uh, so then, uh, yeah, so entire house will be filled with the ants' food. Then ants are, everywhere like that. Then Rinpoche himself will, recite. Uh, um, Basically, every free time he will recite mantras to the ants, and somewhere he will go around and very gently blow without blowing the food. He will blow, and he will go as if not to miss even one ant, like paying attention to each ant like that. He spends so much time, blessing them, reciting mantras. Oh, then when he, of course, walk around, is so mindful. And in case one ant happened to come this way across this way, he would pay extra attention to offer, bless them with powerful mantras. Uh, so whole throughout, if he's staying 1 week or 2 weeks, maximum is about 2 to 3 weeks. So about 2 weeks he will stay in Kopan that time. And throughout his stay, is entire his house is filled with ants. And anyway, Rinpoche don't lie down, he don't sleep. So so that's why he put all around his bed, and the bed is not like the master bed or queen size bed. So the lama's beds are quite small, uh, like that, and so he just have like his own space to sit in the middle. Then everywhere is ant like that, and the ants will. Oh yeah, then before he leave, he would advise, make sure continue to feed them, and we do that even though feel, I mean, not really willingly, you know, I don't have compassion. So, but it's master's order. So, try to do that. But then about weeks later, just like miraculously, entire ant is completely disappeared. And until next Rinpoche's visit, no ants at all. It happens like that all the time. You know, I get opportunity to serve many years, quite many years, at least, I don't know, until when I went to South India. So at least 5, 6 years, I think. Every year is like that. so so that is like compassion action, you know. Then no question about, when he meets people, whether it's his student or not, whether poor, rich, one person, big group, you know, so much attention uh, to individually, and give entirety to his time, until no time to eat, no time to rest, just fulfilling, anyone comes in his way. So this is the illustration of compassion in action. Example, best example, compassion in action, like that. Mm? Uh, then if he's traveling by car, you know, the moment he see, in from Kopan to town, so on the way, there are few ways to reach to Bauda or the Kathmandu city, and especially there's one way. If you travel this way, there are uh, butcher shops for chicken, for sometimes buffalo, then goats. The moment he see, immediately will ask to stop the car, and he will request them to stop killing. But of course, they won't stop. This is their livelihood, you know. But then whatever animal there, he asks the driver or his attendant, whoever, to buy them, liberate them. So he created animal sanctuary to liberate them. So until, because these butchers also take advantage, would charge you so much, and which you don't think about the money, they just save their life. That's it. So until the drivers and people has to drive some other way, because they're going to get into trouble. But for him is, that's it, just to elevate the suffering of others. And also, he never like kind of show anger or upset to the butchers. He make a lot of prayers for them. And in many time, even when do dedication, he specifically mentioned, those butchers to be free from, the karma they commit. Because concern of their karmic consequences, which is suffering, isn't it? So like that. Huh? So then one time, we went to his previous life's cave, Laudo. Uh, so then, when we went up, we went by helicopter. But then when we came down, we walked down, and the journey is supposed to be just one day, but the journey took 3 days and 3 nights. So there's a long story. Just to make it short, maybe some of you already heard this story quite a number of times. uh, so basically, whole night, whole day, it's blessing any creatures that comes in his way. And whole night just blessing ants and frogs, and just a short distance, from Laudo to Namje Bazaar is not that very long distance, but we left from Laudo around maybe 5 or something like that, and we reached Namche Bazaar morning 3 o'clock, because on the way, with the flashlight, he see ants crawling, and he dedicate, at least half an hour or so, reciting powerful mantras, to liberate them from the animal realm like that. Uh, then frog, we chase after the frog to bless the frogs. So like that. Then daytime, you see many cows pass by, our way. So he will, stop there to bless them. Then if you see even like a dead, like insects or whatever, you know, if there's a carved mantra on the rock, so he will bring them around to circumambulate and pray them to never to be born as animal and born in, your realm, etc. Like that. You see. Then the next day in Namje Bazaar, in one way is quite a big community. In another way, it's not that many. And each family, they have altar room. So people knew that, this very realized master is coming. So everyone want his blessing to protect them, from many to like mountain climbing jobs, uh, and very scary jobs, pottery jobs, etc. So they want blessing from him. So people are waiting, in front of their house, carrying a brass plate with full of uncooked barley. Then in the center, they will put a big salt. Uh, so basically, also, like symbol of auspiciousness. At the same time, uh, is the sign that, asking you to bless our house and bless us. So he spent whole day. We supposed to reach yesterday to Lukla to fly off to Kathmandu, but we still stuck the second day in Namche Bazaar. He went into this because the person is waiting for him to bless. So he never say, I'm rushed. He give full time to do the house blessing. Then accumulate merit for the benefit of all sentient beings through extensive bodhicitta motivation. So each family got holy object like Buddha's images. He offer 35 Buddha's prostrations. Then uh, concerning especially these people's this samsara, the samsara aggregates I mentioned at the beginning, the third type of suffering, uh, you know, um, and the antidote to be free someone from third type of suffering is only through dharma. That's what Buddhists understand. Suffering or pain, maybe you can use some, antiseptic medicines may overcome. Suffering of change, maybe certain kind of consultation, certain time of psychological conversation may be able to overcome, or some minor treatment can able to overcome. But pervasive compounded third level of suffering, only antidote of Dharma, the medicine of Dharma, only able to overcome. So this is Buddhist teachings understanding. Uh, uh, so he's concerning about that, third level of suffering, even though, it's quite, even though it's in the remote Himalaya, but when it comes to Namje Bazaar, people there looks quite abundant, like nice house, people have job, etc. But then he give at least like a half an hour to 1 hour to teach them Dharma, make them understand the renunciation, make them understand bodhicitta, make them understand emptiness, whether they understand or not. But he just Rinpoche just do what he needed to do. You see, so at least leave an imprint to be free from the suffering of pervasive compounded suffering, in concerning, their samsara, and he want to elevate them from there. So then he invest his physical body being there. He, invests his speech to speak dharma, and of course he carried this, bodhicitta heart, isn't it? So compassion, action from all the three doors to this person. So in short, he been going to each he fulfill anybody request he went to fulfill until it lasts until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, just in that small village. So many of you maybe been to Namche Bazaar, so you can imagine, you know, that street, just going in here, there, from morning, I don't know, maybe 7, 8 o'clock until nighttime 8 o'clock. No lunch, nothing, you know, just uh, helping, others, and especially, through dharma, to elevate them from the samsara like that. Then after that, um, so people there knew that he was one whole week in doing fasting retreat called Nyungne retreat. We were doing Nyungne retreat, 7 days with the Tamil nuns at the Laudo in his cave, Gomba. Uh, so when Rinpoche is in the retreat, he will go on day and night. Then whole last night he been on the road. He's on the road. So people know that he must be very tired. So now the one family offer him a horse. So hoping that he will ride on horse for the next journey from Namche Bazaar to go down to, there's one place called Lama Dorje's place, where one of the reasons why he's traveling, walking is this Lama Dorje have requested him to offer initiation about 5, 6 years before when they met in Bodh Gaya. So he kept that in mind and he want to fulfill that now. So along the way, there's so many beings are benefited and there's so much sacrifices for his own well-being like that. Anyway, uh, so so anyway, this horse was offered to him, and he accepted the horse, but he didn't ride. Obviously, he won't ride the horse, and he assigned one of the entourage, make sure, with a loud sound. We have about 15 over entourage, as if like everybody can hear loud sound, recite all of those powerful mantras to the horse. So now we are leaving around 8 o'clock. Those of you who went there, now the real scary road comes, until approach to the river down there. And now we are carrying another member horse. And someone like have to full pay attention to recite mantra to elevate this horse samsara. uh, and and this is again so obvious of uh, he understood that this horse has a special karma to him. There will be thousands of horses over there, but this one horse came into his life. Now he give full attention to this horse. Huh? So anyway, uh, there are many long story, but this is just a taste of it. And this is, I think, you can say, in a Buddhist practice, like Lama Zopa Rinpoche, like he's one of us really, who live in inseparable from, performing compassion action, and these are the example, and there are so many schools, so many individual families, so many sick people, throughout his life. Whoever comes into his way, whatever help he asks, he will find every means to alleviate their problem, their sufferings. Even in a great monastery in India, when I first went there, really, there are many, even from my classmates, there are many there who cannot sustain in that climate in South India. It's hot. Then some more, uh, the food very uh, 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 difficult, to get resources to have a nutritious food. So uh, some not only refugees from Tibet, but uh, some even came from Himalaya. They couldn't sustain to stay there because of they don't have proper food to eat, so they had to give up. They returned, you know, and like myself, when I first went there, um, you know, uh, uh, the monastery have no um, means to feed all the students there. So we need to pay about, I think, 100 rupees a month, and lunchtime, one bowl of rice, and can you imagine what kind of rice? Then very watery, small scoop of dal, and that's it. And very rare people make morning puja. When there's a morning puja sponsors, then they will offer breakfast, like a cup of butter tea or sweet tea, and one round bread. But very rare people come and sponsor. So most of the students, don't have breakfast like that. Then dinner is like, most of time is no dinner like that. It's very harsh time. Can you imagine, before I went, I went around 90s. So that time, I went through that. And then one of our teacher who is ex-abbot of Serache, Khensu Losang Siri, and so when he become abbot, so he has one of the most student, but he know that all the students are very poor, and the teacher is giving free tuition to us. In a very humble house, we squeeze there over teaching, and as an abbot, uh, whenever there's a puja offering, and then because of the rank, he get double bread. So morning we get one bread, he will get two breads. Uh, then I think lunchtime also, when we get one bread, I think he also get two breads. So he will take from the one small corner and one whole, and most of the another one he will save, and he will dry on his rooftop. Uh, then um, there's a bag, the made from the tree thread. We call bogre. So after well dry, so he will save there. And when the student go to class, he will see from the face who didn't eat. You will see how pale you are. So then, based on that, then he will point finger. He say, "You stay back after the class." Then he will dig his bag, and he will give this dry bread, saved from his own food. Say, then uh, uh, so most of the time, he have some tomatoes, to for him to make some soup. So he would give like one or two, piece of tomato, and maybe not even onion. Maybe onion is more expensive than tomato. So if there's onion, so a bit of onion and the tomato, and piece of chili, and that piece of bread. You don't get whole, but then at least piece is a. If you have a stop at your room, then it's a, you make soup out of that, then break the bread and make a noodle soup. Uh, you know, and if most of the students don't have stop at their house, so he has a small kitchen at the corner. So he asked to make the soup there, and bring our own bowl and take to your home and eat. So uh, year after year, you know. So he take care. So he will always encourage. So how harsh it is, don't go back. It's a study. don't give up study. But many they come to him. Of course, we have this uh, uh, like we will not live without informing our teacher. So he will try his very best, but many has to leave also. So like that. Uh, then daytime, around the season. Uh, uh, so just to take care of the running costs of the temple and other facilities. So they have this cornfield. So we have to go to work in the cornfield. We need to plant the corn. We need to take the weed out. We need to then take the corn. Then we need to, all the process. Then, and most of the time when we take the corn, that time we will have exam. So morning you go to take the corn. By 1 o'clock you have to rush. But if you don't go to take work in the cornfield, you will be fined with I don't know 1 rupee or some rupees like that. But if you able to go to the work, then you get that pay, and from that pay, you at least go and get us um, the noodle soup. Then after that, you run to the exam. So we have to do like that anyway. My point is here. My point is compassion action. uh, so then Lama Sopa Rinpoche, he appeared uh, very much, upon the request of this abbot. Say, please, since you have many centers in the West, you have many friends, many students, so uh, help find a way to help to feed food for my monks here. And Rinpoche immediately, he organized. And the next day, we have this everyday breakfast, you know, nicer bread and more thicker tea, then lunch, today we got a fruit, banana, maybe next day, maybe even may have orange or mango. And today with the rice and dal, now you can have as much as dal you want, pick one, and the rice as much as you want, you know, and you can see immediately everybody like put on weight. So anyway, and he been feeding like that, few thousands, 3, 4 thousands of students. I don't know, 20, I don't know, 20 over 20, 30 years maybe, like that. And many places in the Himalayas, in Nepal, in India, so many old folk homes, you see, so many individual families. So all these are compassion in action, and many of you have be part of that. And you may be doing in your own ways, to many people. So I would say, as long as we live in the practice of compassion action, I think you're living in the best spiritual practice. If you are a spiritual seeker, a spiritual practitioner, or if you are not a spiritual believer, but surely you would appreciate being a good human being as long as you live in practice of compassion action. I think that is the highlight of being a best human being, a great human being, and compassion, to express compassion action. I think, as I mentioned before, there's no boundaries. You can express to one, to all sentient beings, and also to the nature, the universe. We can express compassion, and for your heart, I think that is the best way to relax. Bring sense of peace, bring sense of calmness, bring sense of satisfaction, bring sense of meaning, purpose, fulfillment, all the goodness, and best service. Best service in the best compassion action is, I think, best service to the sentient being. So while obtaining human life, some more in Buddhist understanding, this is what the life we have is precious human life. While having precious human life, if we unable to be in the service of others' well-being, I would understand is life is meaningless. That's what I would understand like that. And if you're able to be in the service of others, then you're already, living fully. So with this note, I will stop here. And if there's any question, even though I'm already taking your time by 1 minute extra, and but if you have any questions, anything to share, please welcome. And otherwise, we can stop here. That's it. Okay. So thank you very much, and all the best. And we do our best. Be in compassion in action. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone. On Zoom also. Thank you. Take care.